Well, hi everyone, welcome to the Music Chap YouTube channel. This is Music Chap himself, and here we're going to be uncovering music in general, from rock to pop, from good to bad. So idea is to cover all sorts of things so that you know exactly what to put on your playlists or what to buy in stores. So today we're going to be talking about Royal Blood's recent release. So it's called Back to the Water Below, and it's an interesting one because for most of the fan base of Royal Blood, they would be looking at something in line with what they have done in the past. To those people, this record is not gonna fall short of any expectations that they might have, because their vibe is there, the riffs are there, the cadence is there, as well as the energy, which is definitely there. So for those who do not know Royal Blood, they are a British band. They came together and were formed back in 2011. And of course, this is a very peculiar band because it's a duo. It's only the two of them, Mike and Ben. Mike playing the bass guitar and singing, while Ben hits the drums. And it's always a difficult endeavor to have a band with 2 or 3 members, because of course you cannot cover all grounds, especially live. While you can do lots of different stuff in studio, either the 2 members or with other musicians, playing live is a different story, but we'll get to that point. Idea of this band pretty much is in line with what we would expect from a rock, British rock, hard rock, garage rock band type of thing. And you may have heard at least a couple of their hits, like Figure It Out, Out of the Black, Lights Out. These 3 would probably sum up their mainstream hits. And as I said, this Back to the Water Below is the 4th album of the band, which was pretty much a departure to what they had done in the past, because they basically decided, after touring for a good few months, to go back to their hometown and home studio, because they have one in Brighton, to basically try and come up with something that would be more organic and real. Like they got to a point where they can play the music that they really want to play, and I feel like that's really what they've done. It's their essence, pretty much reflected in this record. It's only 10 tracks, but it's 30 minutes, 32 or whatever minutes of bliss. They decided not to think too much about what they were going to come up with, simply went with the flow. And for those who have been in a studio recording, you know pretty much what this is like, and especially when you have like a home studio where you can be the majority of your time playing, experimenting and trying new stuff. And especially when it comes to songwriting, it's really important for the band to be together. For them, wouldn't be that difficult because it's only 2 of them, so it's easy enough. But yes, in this record, we pretty much have a bunch of like different moods and atmospheres, even though it's pretty much energetic throughout, and you do have different ambiances. But I feel like the first time that I listened to it, it took a bit to grow on me, but after going through the album like 3 or 4 times, there were like a few songs, like 4 or 5 songs that really got stuck, which is really good, because when you have a band such as them with these major hits like Figure It Out and Lights Out, it's difficult to come up with something that might be that good. And especially because you have your fan base, but you also want to keep the commercial side of things going on. So it's obviously a difficult balance that you need to strike. But this one is definitely a departure from their third album, which had a more like electronic dance vibe to it. So this is more about their rock stuff, and I couldn't be more pleased, to be honest. And it's great to see that even as a fairly recent band, at least on the mainstream, it's a good momentum for them. And I feel like this is it was very clever for them to try and come up with something that would reveal their true self as a band. And I feel like everyone has welcomed this record in a very good way. Both their fans and mainstream public in general. So yes, I feel like this was a really good effort from them, and I will have to list my favorite and also less favorite tracks. Going back in time, their mainstream recognition goes back to 2014. They even got a Mercury Prize nomination, I think. These songs, it's all about like heavy riffs, and the melodies are of course very catchy. And there's something unique to the band, not only because it's only two of them, but when you listen to their albums and you go and see a gig, there's a difference there. It's of course not possible for them to replicate their studio stuff live, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing, I don't think, even though I would admit, my opinion would be that for major gigs, major festivals, like, they could grab more people and have a full band on stage just to have a real experience of their songs. It comes down to aesthetics, I think, and after listening to their records, I would be curious to see them live, and I wouldn't be shocked if it didn't sound like the record, because it's of course an interpretation of what they've done in the studio, so it's only natural, and it feels right to me. Anyway, so favorite tracks on this Back to the Water Below album, it has to be at the top, Shiner in the Dark. It has like a great groove to it. It's very royal blood. It's what they do, it's what they are good at, and it sums up the record, I think, which in turn sums up the band. I also really like Mountains at Midnight, a very powerful song. It delivers, it's effective, and again, it reflects the band. And also the third one would be The Firing Line. Really like that one too. As for less favorite tracks, it was difficult to me to come up with a handful of them. The less favorite ones, it only reflects my taste, nothing else, because I do feel like this is a very solid effort from the band, and a very consistent record. But I'd have to say that Triggers, There Goes My Cool, and How Many More Times. So these three songs might not be my favorite ones. This last one, this How Many More Times song, it's a good effort, and there's a bit of Brit pop component to it, I think. The way that the melody goes about its business, which is fair enough, and I would happily listen to it, and I do listen to it anyway. But yes, it's not as consistent and powerful as the ones that I mentioned before, and the majority of them in the album. Anyway, so yeah, now we come to a time where I have to give this record a score. This is how it's gonna play out, by the way. And yes, to me, this is a solid 8 out of 10. If you're into rock music, Brit rock, garage rock, stuff like that, you should definitely have this on your playlist. I feel like everyone into this type of groove and sound will appreciate and enjoy this record from Royal Blood. If you think about it, their type of sound would be similar to what Queens of the Stone Age, Led Zeppelin, I mean that type of thing. If it doesn't have heavy riffs, it still sits within, I mean, the hard rock but pop rock type of thing. So yes, it's an excellent record, a really good album. I will definitely keep it on my playlist. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next one. Until next time.